Hi, I'm Casey, but most of you know me around the internet as Cartoon12 or Toongal12 here on YouTube, and as my username suggests, I love cartoons. Even now that I'm an adult, I still prefer animated shows and movies over live-action ones, and as of late I've had people ask me what some of my favorite movies and TV shows are and what inspired me to become an artist. I've also seen people make top 10 lists of their favorite shows and movies, and I find them interesting to listen to, especially if a movie or episode you weren't expecting to make the list pops up, and finding out the reasons why he or she likes or hates a particular show or movie. So then I thought, why not make a few top 10 lists of my own? I'd be interested to see if anyone agrees or disagrees with my choices, and see if people could point out some things that I might not have considered before. So for this top 10 list, I'm going to feature one of my favorite cartoon shows, Rocko's Modern Life. Created by Joe Murray, the show centered around an Australian wallaby named Rocko and his day-to-day adventures in his new home in America. Along with his friends and neighbors, including his dog Spunky, lovable oaf Heifer, nerdy Filbert, and the crabby Bigheads, this Day in the Life series had both creative animation, memorable characters, relatable but still zany plots, and hilarious moments that even managed to slip in some edgy humor for the adults watching. This show came on back when Nickelodeon was still in its infancy, and it became one of the first cartoons I really grew up with. Even to this day, you'll find plenty of fans who can sing the Recycle song, want a G.I. Jimbo doll, and insist upon turning the page and washing your hands when reading a book. But before we get to the top 10, there's one thing I should mention. Unlike some of my other lists, this is a show that goes pretty much purely for laughs. Each cartoon is only 10 minutes long, so this was a series that was focused more on jokes rather than being plot-heavy. Each story was really only a one-sentence plot to hang joke after joke on. So this list is going to be slightly different this time around in that my favorites are being judged more or less on how funny I thought the episode was. And different things make different people laugh. So whether you agree or disagree with my choices, I'd love to hear your feedback. But before we get to the actual list, I'd like to start with the 5 runners-up. The episodes that almost made the list but just fell short. Number 5, Who's for Dinner? This was one of the few episodes that was played more for drama than laughs, and to have the surprise you're adopted plot happen to the comic relief of the show made it all the more effective and memorable. It's both hilarious and interesting to find out that a pack of wolves fell in love with what was basically going to be their dinner. But it also stands as a great lesson that people don't have to be related by blood to be a family.
Oh, Heifer, where did you go?
I went looking for my real family, but I found out that you're my real family after all.
Number 4, Zanzibar. I'm fairly certain that more than a few environmentalists out there use the musical numbers from this episode as their theme song. A plot that was devoted entirely to a save the environment message could get preachy, but they managed to make it entertaining with some of the catchiest earworms ever. Months, even years could go by and you'll still find yourself humming
R-E-C-Y-C-L-E, recycle. C-O-N-S-E-R-V-E, conserve. Don't you P-O-L-L-U-T-E, pollute the river, sky, or sea, or else you're gonna get what you deserve. Spring cleaning.
Our disinfecting prowess is second to none.
Spring cleaning. Spring cleaning is a sick, disgusting job.
Number 3, Cruisin'. This is another clever episode that manages to balance both humor and heart. Rocko, Heifer, and Grandpa Wolf book a vacation on a cruise ship, and after being trapped in the Bermuda Triangle, all the young people turn old and vice versa, leading to all parties involved walking a mile in the other's shoes. And Grandpa Wolf getting a second chance at love and saving Rocko after countless episodes of abusing him just sweetens the deal. Number 2, Keeping Up with the Bigheads. I'm pretty sure that everyone has encountered or had or has a neighbor like Mr. Bighead at some point. That guy who's constantly working on his house or yard and is the self-proclaimed ruler of the neighborhood, always sticking his nose in other people's business. So to see the fairly new neighbor defeat him at his own game is beyond satisfying, creating a beautiful yard that hilariously lasts all of 10 seconds. And number 1, no pain, no gain. In recent years, a lot of people have been becoming more health conscious, which I think makes this episode even more relevant than ever. Along with being hilarious in their various attempts to get in shape, it also contains a nice message about caring for your health, but also learning to like yourself and the body you have.
Hey, Rocko! Where are you going? You don't need to go. You can be in our exclusive club.
I'm in?
Sure, yes.
What about Heather?
Ha! Heifer? Ha! 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 Fat boy's gotta go.
I can't join without my friend.
Listen, Rocko, he's not cool and hip like I. Rocko. You don't want to be hanging with big, fat, bovine partner.
That bovine dog is my best friend, and if he's not good enough for your club, I'm not good enough.
So now with the runners-up out of the way, let's get to the actual list. Here it is, my top 10 favorite episodes of Rocko's Modern Life.
That was a hoop.
Number 10. A Sucker for the Suck-O-Matic. Talk about the infomercial from hell. I think all of us have bought those as seen on TV products at some point and have been disappointed at the results. So this episode aims to take it to the absolute extreme when Rocko's new heavy-duty vacuum cleaner turns into a monster and eats up everything in sight. Along with references to Citizen Kane.
I'm sorry, old friend. I didn't mean to be cruel to you. Don't leave me. I need you. Wait, it's trying to speak. What is it, old friend?
Godzilla.
Look, it is Suck-O-Zilla. No one is safe. We must flee the city.
And Star Trek, this is one product you won't be ordering to double the offer for only $19.99.
What you really honey? You must have more power. We're being sucked into some kind of sucking boy.
That was a hoop.
Number 9. The High Five of Doom. This is the old coincidences make person think other person is up to no good plot, but the fact that the friend in question is mild-mannered Filbert, or that Rocko and Heifer are led to believe he's an alien from outer space, or that he's going to take over the world by killing people with a high five makes it all the funnier. And even Filbert's rational explanations for all the weird things he was doing makes you wonder if he really is an alien. Seriously, using mustard for cologne? You're not an alien, you're just a nutjob.
Hey guys, high five? Hey, sure.
That was a hoop.
Number 8. Canned. Face it guys, we've all been through this, having to find a job, or in Rocko's case, a new job. Each application attempt is one funny gag after another, and this was also the first time we really got to see the inner workings of Conglommo, a multimedia business empire that would come into play in later episodes. It's also awesome to see Mr. Bighead get his comeuppance again, as each product contains to beat him up in hilarious ways. We're also introduced to the comic book store that Rocko eventually works at, another important location in the series proper. In the end, for those of you who don't really like your job, this episode will make you appreciate it compared to some of the things that Rocko had to try out.
Hammers make a lot of money.
Hey, could you get that? Thanks a lot. Hey, could you get that? Thanks a lot. Hey, could you get that? Thanks a lot.
Specialty phone operator. I can do that. Goodbye. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Rocko. Mrs. Bighead.
That was a hoop.
Number 7. Mindbenders. You know, with episodes like the Bare Facts on Powerpuff Girls and Aku's Fairy Tales on Samurai Jack, I'm starting to notice that I really like stories where characters recount something from various points of view. It's a creative way of learning more about the characters and how they operate via the way they tell a story. And this one's no different. It starts with Filbert getting caught in a rainstorm and catching a cold, so Rocko and Heifer try to help him feel better by reading to him. And what follows is one of the weirdest yet funniest fairy tales ever, as Rocko and Heifer fight for control over the story, causing it to become exponentially stranger over time, until the thing barely makes any sense and implodes on itself. It really makes me wish these three could come over to my house and spin a tall tale next time I'm not feeling so good.
Oh look, a cottage made entirely of healthy snacks.
Healthy snacks? What fun is that? The house is made of pizza.
No, it's not. It's made of healthy snacks.
Pizza!
Healthy snacks!
Pizza!
Healthy snacks!
Pizza!
Healthy snacks!
Pizza! Hey, you're both wrong. The house is made of fish sticks. Imagine that! A fish stick house. That was a hoop!
Number 6. Junkies. This has no doubt happened to a few of us. Rocko has racked up an enormous pizza bill, so he has to hold an emergency garage sale in order to raise the money to pay it off. I wish I could say more, but really the comedy in this comes from all the oddball customers they have to deal with, including Mr. Bighead being the obligatory cheapskate, and Heifer selling off all of Rocko's furniture without him knowing. This episode is also infamous for showcasing Heifer's half-melted G.I. Jimbo doll, and the fact that he manages to sell it, which ends up being the final sale they needed to pay the bill off, is the icing on the cake.
I've got a real cash cow here, Rocko.
Right, Head, let's see.
Ta-da!
What is it?
G.I. Jimbo! He survived 8 tours of duty on our kitchen stove.
No,
That was a hoop!
Number 5. Camera Shy. From what I gathered, it seems both this and another episode coming up on this list have become rather infamous among the fans, and for good reason. All Rocko wants to do is make a home movie about his life in America to send to his parents back in Australia. But between his neighbors being their goofy selves, Heifer and Filbert trying to spice up the movie, and just one mishap after another, the film ultimately gets edited and transformed into a provocative, artsy piece by the Chameleon Brothers, which goes on to win first prize at a film festival. But by far the best part, and the part that made it famous, is when Heifer and Filbert sneak over Rocko's house in the middle of the night and, film some things.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness one of the 7 wonders of the world. At about 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, through this window, our buddy Rocko will descend the staircase as he does every night with a glass of milk.
And he ain't dressed for the occasion, if you know what I mean.
Yup, you heard right. He's completely naked.
With no clothes on.
Oh my gosh! He saw us! I think he saw us!
Oh boy, oh boy.
That was a hoop!
Number 4. Popcorn Pandemonium. You'd think that going to the movies would be simple, but of course, on this show, things are never simple. It starts with Rocko and Heifer wanting to go to a drive-in, but since there aren't any around, they settle for pirating Mr. Bighead's cable.
Look, there's an old drive-in type monster movie on channel 63. What the? Stay tuned for more
her undies.
Well, that's that.
They then decide to go to the movies properly, and from there, everyone's been through at least one of these scenarios. We get all the classics like sticky, disgusting floors, trying to find a good seat, the screaming kid that won't shut up, and sneaking in snacks. But bar none, the funniest parts in this are the movie trailers, which either tell you nothing, tell you too much, or just don't make any sense at all. All I know is that I came away from this episode wanting to see each and every one of those movies that were previewed. It'd certainly be better than some of the other stuff that's been coming out in recent years.
It's not new. It's not original. It isn't even very interesting. But it is coming this summer.
All right, Dracula. You're in for it now. We're gonna...
Dracula, as you've never seen him before. Dead.
Our work here is finished.
Yup.
Get some bagels?
Alright.
Dracula, it's been done to death.
Number 3. She's the Toad. For how much of a jerk-face Mr. Bighead is, he's still a very funny character, especially when bad things happen to him. But in this instance, things are a bit more serious. He has to make a very important proposal at work, and if he screws up, there's a good chance he could lose his job. The pressure ends up making him crack, so his wife ends up having to step in and complete the proposal for him. In one sitting, this episode showcases just how smart and awesome of a wife, and just person period, Mrs. Bighead is. And of course, to balance out all the girl power going on, we get a side-splitting subplot with Heifer and Filbert taking advantage of Mr. Bighead's frazzled state of mind and messing with him, which starts when they're forced into dressing up as Mr. Bighead and posing as him at his job. I can't really say anything else other than just watch.
Give me Mr. Bighead. What? Did I get you to walk the right? Memos?
I'm very busy, young fellow.
Sir, please, if I could just get you to take a quick look at these papers here. They just require your signature on them.
This guy's asking too many questions. What do I do?
I don't know. Punch him! So if you wouldn't mind, just simply take the pen. It's just a matter of putting your signature on the dotted line and that way. Ed, you have been charged with treason. How do you plead, Froggy Lips?
He looks funny.
Shut up! Ed Bighead, I am your conscience.
I'm his conscience too.
What?
Don't say I, say we.
What?
We.
Oh, okay. We.
You said we. Say it again.
We. Your conscience has spoken.
That was a hoop.
Number 2. Rocko's Modern Christmas. For a show that lasted 4 seasons, I think it goes without saying that a Christmas episode was in order, and this one has a great mix of both humor and heart, without being too overly mushy. It starts with Rocko wanting a traditional Christmas party, but it's hard to get in the spirit of things when, according to Mr. Bighead, it hasn't snowed in O-Town in decades. Nevertheless, he invites all his friends over for a party, then goes shopping. First order of business is getting the Christmas tree, which he buys off of Heifer and Filbert.
Snap it up, tree sloth. I ain't got all day. Salesman talk.
I ought to use that line at my job. We also get this funny character.
Bring the children to Fruitcake Man. I love the children. Go on, take a gift. I feel nothing. No.
Along the way, Rocko runs into an elf and helps him out of a jam, then takes him home, discovering the new neighbors moving in are elves. They befriend each other, and we meet their, colorful crew.
Donna! Wrench!
Screwdriver.
Nail gun.
Crowbar.
Jigsaw.
Mango.
Mango?
I was feeling pretty.
Oh.
Screwdriver, nail gun, crowbar, and a jigsaw. But do you recall the most famous elf of all?
No, I don't.
That'd be Mitch. He had 3 legs. And was the last elf who could make it snow.
Oh, I'd love for it to snow.
Yeah, well, we lost him in a blizzard.
However, Mr. Bighead's party invite got lost in the mail, making him think he wasn't invited. So being the Scrooge he is, and having a dislike for elves, who will be at the party, he spreads a rumor that the elves have some kind of foot disease, and pretty soon no one shows up for Rocko's party. Except for his elf friend. Seeing as how they're the only two with any sort of real Christmas spirit, their love for the holiday finally makes it snow in the town, and his friends, realizing their mistake, apologize, and everyone has a Merry Christmas. And my number 1 favorite episode of Rocko's Modern Life is Wacky Deli. If the Powerpuff Girls movie was the cartoon that inspired me to pursue art and writing as an actual job, then this is the cartoon that actually taught me how to do it. Well, sort of. No doubt any future artist and/or animator needs to see this episode, as it offers a lot of forewarning for what you're in for. Everyone remembers this episode, and for good reason. It's one of the few 2-part episodes on the show, and the series creator himself, Joe Murray, provided the voice for Ralph Bighead. No doubt this story was an autobiography of his own experiences in making Rocko. It begins with Mr. Bighead's son Ralph, an animator, finally completing his cartoon series, The Fatheads, and being relieved to finally move on and pursue other forms of art. But his bosses hit him with one tiny hitch in his contract. He owes them a pilot for another show. Even after his family and friends throw him a welcome home party, Ralph is still in an awful mood, realizing he's most likely going to be trapped in the animation studio forever. That is, until Heifer and Filbert inadvertently give him an idea. If he lets the two of them and Rocko make the next show, he figures their stupidity will make the plot so awful his bosses will fire him and he can finally be free to do what he wants. So he sends the trio off to Tinseltown to make a cartoon. Now this video would take forever if I were to list off every last thing I laughed at in this, because honestly, practically every line of dialogue here is beyond hilarious. But the highlights include Ralph telling Heifer he has got his finger on the pulse of America when he suggests a cartoon about deli meats, or when the trio is designing the characters, or when they're fighting over every tiny detail in the script. But hands down, the best part is when the trio finally delivers their finished product and we get to see it in all its glory. Yes, I'm going to show it, and no, I'm not cutting out a single minute of this. Doing so would ruin the artistic genius.
What a beautiful day! Hello?
I hate baloney! I am the cheese. I am the best character on the show. I am better than both the salami and the bologna combined.
texture of this meatloaf, and the pineapples give it a festive touch.
I am the cheese. I am the best character on the show. I am better than both the salami and the bologna combined. I am the best character on the...
The meatloaf should be spongy, yet firm.
Salami, better than the bologna, better than the...
Embrace it.
So, what'd you think?
We love it!
Well, I'm sure you all saw that coming. From there on, the show becomes a bona fide hit, and Ralph soon finds himself becoming more and more desperate, trying anything and everything he can to ruin the show, with each of his attempts simply making it more and more popular. Part 1 is definitely the funnier of the two, but nevertheless, it had me singing the theme song and saying, "I am the cheese" ever since. Wacky Deli, a hilarious glance into the trials of making a cartoon, and my pick for my favorite episode. I'm Cartoon 12, and I hope you enjoyed the countdown. I'll have more top 10 lists soon, so tune in again next time.